when he said that you guys didn't know what you were worth. And this is true.
We are at Lloyd's, scene of many of your triumphs as West Indies captain and Lancashire. Before we sort of moved on to the main reason for being here today, which is the 50th anniversary of the Scoop. Obviously, before the Scoop came along, you were with Gray-Nicolls for many years, I believe.
Yeah, the first bad company I was with. If you tell from my signature, it's sort of really one of those sort of amateurish sort of signings. But I thoroughly enjoyed the years I was there for quite a while with Gray-Nicolls.
I think before your time, Sir Frank Worrell was a Gray-Nicolls man.
Yeah.
Presumably both influences on your career in an early age.
Well, yes, the point is that we came here in 1966 going to India. And that time, we didn't have a lot of gear. So most of the guys went with Gary to Slazenger's. So myself and Rex Collymore, and we were left there. We didn't know nobody to take us anywhere. And a Barbadian guy came and he took us the Zephyr 6 or whatever. It broke down in the middle of Oxford, and we had on these big red maroon blazers, pushing this big Zephyr 6 or whatever it was until it started. Then we got to Gray-Nicolls, and we sort of bought a bat or two, and then they gave us one, and they said, well, if you do well, we'll think of, signing you up. And I did fairly well, and that's how I started with them. It was, a good period of being with Gray-Nicolls. We had a long relationship, and, I think it was, I can't remember if it's 15p a bat or something.
Probably something like that.
Yeah.
And then you soon signed for Lancashire.
Yeah.
Many triumphs with Lancashire at that time.
Yeah.
The best team.
Well, it was one of the best teams around. I think we should have won the championship a few more times, but then again, we used to lose 14 days to rain.
Yeah.
And whilst the other people were playing, we'd end up third. I captained the side, and David Lloyd when he was made captain, I was his vice captain. The first year he was ill, and he didn't play from a great part of the season. So I took over. We got to Lord's at the final of the Gillette Cup, and we were 2 points off the eventual winners with one game to go. And it rained 3 days. So we brought fourth.
Manchester weather.
No, it was funny that it was at Sussex.
Right.
But there again, we played all season one, didn't lose a game, and never won the championship.
Yeah.
But we were a very good side. I mean, at the 3 day and the 1 day. I'm wondering if we had played 4-day cricket now, where you have more time to declare and so on, if it probably would have been good for us.
Yeah. Was it 3 Gillette Cup victories back to back?
Yeah, we're permanent members here, end of the year. We were so good at the Gillette Cup that people would book the hotels and so on, because they're sure that we wouldn't get there. It was amazing.
And the bats you were using those days, I think I'm right in saying they had the old red sort of sword shape on the back.
Yes.
Quite thin.
We had others where you had that sheepskin, the skin.
Yes.
I used that. Oh, you use about everything that Gray-Nicolls had. But they provided the best gear.
Right.
Gloves were good, pads were good, Later on they had the trousers and shirts.
Yes. Yeah.
So they were probably the best company around. They were good people to work with.
And then sort of forwarding to 1974, Ian Chappell walked out in a test match against England and used the Scoop for the first time. And I think I'm right in saying it was seen as a revolution in bat making at the time. You have many memories of the Scoop coming in?
Yeah, so anything, anytime they brought something different, we would have a go and have a, But the Scoop was good. It's just something different, but my bat was not as heavy as people thought. It wasn't 3 pounds. When I weighed it the other day, it was 2.7. So I had about 4 grips on it. So it looked sort of heavy, but it wasn't. It was quite easy to handle. And I thoroughly enjoyed the bats that they sent me.
That's interesting. There's a rumour going around the factory they used to use a big heavy bat with 6 grips. So over the years,
they probably thought, because if you put 3 grips in this, it would look heavy.
Yes. Presumably it helped the balance as well.
Yeah, but that's another thing that you have to do. If you put the rubbers on, then you still have to get that balance and the pickup and so on. So it wasn't just putting 3 rubbers or 4 on. It was just putting enough on so that you had something to hold, and the pickup was quite good.
And then I guess a few years later, World Series cricket in Australia started with Kerry, and I remember lots of iconic images of you in coloured clothing.
Yeah, well, one of the things we had my maroon colour.
At the time, did it feel like a real change in the gear that you were using and the coloured clothing and the helmets?
It was different times, and you have to change because you had black side screens, white ball. And I remember Jim Laker coming down to Sydney, and he sat outside with us, and the guys are bowling this white ball, and he said, you can see one good thing about it, you can see the ball right to the boundary, right? Because it wasn't red, it was white, and you sort of picked it up quite easily. And it was revolutionary, but the point is, look at it now. I mean, everybody's playing in colored clothing. And we got there because we were being well paid, and these guys are being better paid, which is pretty good. Because you give the best years of your life to a sport. There's no use calling me an icon, legend, and you can't really give your kids the things that you'd like them to.
Yeah, and certainly that period then led into your domination of world cricket as the West Indies and you captaining the side for
it did a lot.
About 10 years, a bit after that.
Yeah, it did a lot for us in the sense that with the Kerry Packer situation is that you were playing against 60-odd Test cricketers and some very good ones too. So the fielding was excellent, the bowling was superb, the batting was even much better. So the cricket, got a bit of a lift. And then after a while, I saw the first time they had about 60,000 people at Sydney, and at night, and with the moon in the background, it was a beautiful picture. And Kerry there taking money at the gate. It was exceptional. But the point is, it was a turning point. They couldn't see it, and he was just a guy that had a vision. When they realized that, you might as well go along with him because this is where it's at. And they made the right decision. And one thing he told us, and I believe it today, when he said that you guys didn't know what you were worth. And this is true. You wanted to play for your country. Money wasn't the thing, really. I think some of our guys in 1957 got £1 a day for meals. Well, I don't know what that would have bought. But it just shows you that playing for your country is the ultimate. Now these guys want to look after them, so then you can't blame them for that. They want the kids to go to the right school, they want to see that they wear the right clothes and so on, and they want to be in a decent home. And if you are playing that often, you should be paid in commensurate to your ability.
Absolutely. And then of course you had the series of very successful tours here in England, and also when England toured the West Indies, which were pretty conclusive victories.
The thing about it is our guys, we had a lot of guys playing county cricket.
Yes.
So they became rather professional, and they weren't flamboyant or calypso cricketers as they said. We got rid of that tag, and the great thinkers, you had Malcolm Marshall, you had Michael Holding, you had Andy Roberts, Joel Garner, Colin Croft. We had guys who were quick, but they weren't just fast bowlers. They were intelligent sort of cricketers. Then we had our batters. That's some of the best batters around, Greenwich, Haynes, Fredericks, Cali Charan, Rowe, and then you had Larry Gomes, had myself coming in the middle there. So we had a good balanced side. And then we had Roger Harper, the off spinner, who was a terrific cricketer. And we really had the perfect side. We had spin, we had pace. You had me with my gentle military medium, if you want to call it. And so we had a very balanced.
Yeah.
We played the whole series and probably would drop one catch in the whole series. So that's because fielding was just as important to us as batting or bowling. If we had 2 days of practice, the batters will bat after the bowlers have had a good set of guys bowling to them, because if you want them to make runs, you've got to give them proper bowling. And then in the afternoon, after the batting practice, we spend the whole afternoon fielding. So it's something that we worked at. Fitness is important. We had Dennis Wade, so we were always kept fit, and our bowlers didn't break down. They were always there. You know, we used to run 4 laps before a test match, and we did that every morning, you know.
Which at the time was very unusual.
Yeah.
With the first...
and then people started to do what we were doing. They got trainers and they were running, and, you know, it was exciting. And great cricket was played during that period.
Yeah. And obviously 3 World Cup finals here at Lord's.
Yeah.
2 successful, and the third one, India emerged.
Yes, unfortunately. But the point is, when they won that game, we went to India. We played 8 one-days, and they lost all.
Yes.
So it was a good day for them in the sense that it gave their cricket a lift. They decided that they could play one-day cricket, and now they're one of the best one-day sides around.
Absolutely.
So we were sort of party to that. But it was a great day. And those are the days when, you know, the real cricket fan could come and buy a ticket and sit in the grass and enjoy the day and so on.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed cricket here because saw the picket and the chairs and the MCC ties and the guys with their hats. It's always a great scene.
Nice atmosphere.
Yeah.
I remember first going out to India that winter where you did, I think, very well, but also Sonny Gavaskar was using the scoop at the time.
Yeah.
And he took your attack in the first test, got on the front foot a bit, didn't he?
Yeah, well, yes, he got some runs against Gary Sobers' team.
Right.
But against our team, he didn't get that much, but he got a double 100 somewhere, I think it was Madras or something. But I got a good run against us as such. But it's just, you have to admire him because his concentration was just superb. He was good. He was a terrific cricketer. And I have a healthy respect for him as a cricketer and as a person, really. We're very good friends.
And then a few years later, obviously, the scoop remained in use. And I guess the next sort of star player from the West Indies that emerged was Brian Lara.
Yeah.
And he broke the 2 records in the 1 year using the scoop bat. Were you at either of those, or do you
Well, yes, I wasn't there when he broke the first record, but I was on the plane leaving, and just as he broke the record, and I went to the pilot, said, "Would you like to say something?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Ladies and gentlemen, so Lara just broke the world record. If you have a glass or whatever you have, cheers, have a drink." And they all did. It's amazing. But it was good. It was great to see that his powers of concentration too was tremendous. But he played in a game, I think it was a charity game in Trinidad for Polio Plus. And I was there, and you can see he was just coming through. And his eyesight was good, timing the ball very well. So you can see that he was going to be a good player. You didn't know if he was going to be that great.
Yes.
But he had the potential.
Yes.
And it blossomed quite quickly and did marvellously well.
Yeah.
We are proud of him.
I remember watching him in that year, and he played Middlesex here, and he hit John Embry and hit the top turret of the pavilion with a split-off spinner.
Yeah, he's
What
good.
a shot.
He's a good time with the ball.
Yeah. And obviously went on to score 501 against Warwickshire.
He did, yeah. Made a lot of runs in that year.
Yeah.
But to get 501, you've got to be able to bat well.
Yeah.
You've got to have great powers of concentration and so on. The good thing about Brian Lara, he finds the gaps quite easily.
Yeah.
He just strokes it, and he probably remembers where it is. And I used to wonder why, in the old days, guys will come and count the players. And I'm thinking, why are they counting the players? But then I realized that they were trying to find where the players are, so that they can find the gaps, you see. And he did that very, very well.
And then winding forward, obviously now we're celebrating 50 years of the scoop. It seemed like yesterday.
It did actually, yeah. Where's the time gone?
Yeah.
I think Gray-Nicolls is going to be proud of what they've achieved over the years, because players are still using the bat and their gear and so on, because they're still one of the best companies around. Others have come and gone, but they've been great. I'm really proud that I've been involved with them from the inception, from mindset.
It's certainly been a great pleasure for us to be involved with you as well, Clive. So it's
Thank you.